All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Surfside PPC YouTube channel. Today we're going to be going over audiences in Google AdWords. So it's going to be basically our audiences tutorial through Google AdWords and Google Analytics. So one of the best ways to target, whether you're on the search network or display network, is to use audiences. So one of the things AdWords has really improved, I mean, they've improved everything over the years, but one of the things they've really improved is audience targeting. So you have some different options where you can target basically people who view videos on your YouTube channel. You can target people who visit your website. You can target people who use your app. You can target people who are on your email list. So you can do all these different types of things on AdWords, and it works for search and display. So we have a remarketing tutorial on our channel already. So if you're looking for something more remarketing based, then you want to look at that tutorial. It's really geared towards beginners. This is going to be about creating audiences. So when you come into your AdWords account, you sign in and everything. What you want to do is click on the wrench up here in the top right corner. And under shared library, you're going to see audience manager here. So that's where you kind of do. Once we click on that, it's going to open our AdWords audience lists. So I don't have any audience lists yet. So what I like to do actually is instead of managing and doing everything in AdWords, and you can, I mean, if you click on the plus button, you can upload customer lists, you can add your YouTube users, you can add your app users, website visitors, or create custom combinations from different remarketing lists. So some pretty cool things you can do. But what I like to do is I like to come into Google Analytics. So I have my Google Analytics account here. What I've done is I click on the admin in the bottom left corner. It's like a little gear here. And what you want to do is scroll down in the center, you're going to see audience definitions here, and you want to click on audiences. So when we open audiences here, what we're able to do is we can enable remarketing. So that's what we want to do first is we want to enable remarketing. So in the last step we connect, or in the last video tutorial we did, we actually connected our Google Analytics and Google AdWords accounts. So I've done that in other videos before, and you might have done that already. So after you do that, what you need to do is enable remarketing. So what we're going to do is click next step. So our audience destination. So this is where you add this to your Google AdWords account, and then we're also going to keep it in Google Analytics. So you want to add this to it. So when you come back up to AdWords here, you see audience list. You don't have any yet. Once I click OK and enable, it's going to create an all users list that captures everybody who's visited the Beachfront Decor website in the last 30 days. So now we go back to the audience page, and you're going to see up here it says all users. It's open, and you can just see it's just all users that have visited Beachfront Decor. So this is our first audience that we create, and it's created by default. You want to have this audience here, and what we want to do is we want to keep coming into here. So if you're not sure where to come into here, so if you come into Google Analytics, you sign in, you want to click on the admin in the bottom left corner. In the center, it's audience definitions, audiences. So it's a little hard to find sometimes, but so what we want to do is click on new audience here. And what we're going to do is start creating some different audiences. And you can see there's some different options here. So you can create a smart list, all users, new users, returning users, users who have visited a specific section of my website, users who have completed a goal conversion, users who completed a transaction. So a lot of different options here. What I like to do first is create a smart list. So you click on smart list. It's going to be a Google managed audience. So basically, a smart list is going to be these are the most impactful users over the last 7 days, basically, like the people that they think are most likely to convert based on how they've used the website, different things they've done online, what they're actually looking for online. So I like to use a smart list because it basically takes your audience, so the audience that we have, and it narrows it down to a group of people that's highly targeted. So audience name, I just like to call it Google Smart List. And then I like to do how long the duration is. So membership duration here is 30 days. So I like to do that just because you can see it easier. So again, we want to add destinations for both. We're going to click OK here and click Publish. So when you click Publish, it's going to actually send it into AdWords as an audience. So we go back into the Audiences page here. Okay, so now we're back in the audiences pages. We have our all users audience. We have a Google Smart List here. And what we want to do is click on new audience again. We're going to keep adding some different audiences here. So what you can do is do new users. So I like to do this because if you're targeting people who have visited your website for the first time, so over the last 7 days, 1,300 people are brand new to the website. So it's good to target new visitors because you can target them with a message like join our giveaway, join our newsletter, have a chance to win something for free, like a contest, different things like that. So it's good to target new visitors with different options here. So you could do users over the last 7 days. I like to keep it at a 30-day duration, so that's always good. And again, what I'll do is new visitors, 30-day. So click next step. and then you have to always publish them here. So add destinations, click OK, and publish. So that's going to create a new audience now, which is just going to be new visitors 30 day. We click back to the audiences page. Once this loads, so now kind of the way to look at this. So all users, this is everybody who's visited the website over the last 30 days. Google Smart List, so it's a Google managed audience. The smart, basically the most targeted people who have visited the website over the last 30 days. And this is user type new visitor 30 day. So anybody who's visited the website in the past 30 days for the first time. All right, so now we want to click on new audience again. Now I want to show you some different things that we can do here. So you could do users who have visited a specific section of my website. So we click on that. And what you can actually do is do page contains. So any type of keyword that the page contains, so it's going to pull up automatically some of your most popular pages and things like that. So these are some of the most popular pages on my website. So wood signs, bedding and comforter sets. But what you can do is if the page contains bedding, so you just do page contains bedding and click apply. So it's going to pull up different pages that contain bedding. Otherwise, if you want to say, you know what, we have this web page here. It's Ultimate Guide to Beach Themed Bedding Sets, Coastal and Beach Bedding Sets. Long page, a lot of shares. What you could do is copy this URL up here and just take the end of it. Um, Take the end of it, and we're going to come into analytics here. We're going to click here, and we're going to do page contains. And you just want to make sure you pull it correctly. So we do page contains Ultimate Guide to Beach Themed Bedding Sets, and we're going to click apply. So over the last 7 days, 28 people have visited this website. So you can see it might make more sense to do bedding like we had before, because then I can say, you know what, I want to reach anyone who's visited a bedding page on my website, and apply. So I've had 158 over the last 7 days, visited different bedding pages. Click audience name, bedding, 30 days. So you can create categories that way. The other thing, the way I would do it, rather do it, is open up this page. Maybe try to find, so here's a similar one, Tommy Bahama bedding. So what I would try to do is open up all these different pages and actually create them like this so I can make sure I capture, gotta keep doing, so I can make sure I capture the right thing. So I'll do Ultimate Guide to Beach Theme Bedding Sets, or, so if I could do this Tommy Bahama bedding sets, so we come over here. Okay, so we do Tommy Bahama bedding sets. So now you can say anybody who's visited this page, Ultimate Guide to Beach Theme Bedding Sets, or this page, Tommy Bahama bedding sets. And what I would do is keep adding ors here for all the different pages. So you just want to keep doing that. The other thing you do is someone who's visited this page, and you can click end here instead of or you can go someone who's visited this page, and has visited another page. So you can do that to kind of narrow down people. That really works well if you get a ton of website traffic. So we're going to click apply here. So now it's going to say 40 people have visited these two over the last 30 days. What I would do is I have bedding 30 days, add every single bedding URL that I have on the website and make sure I'm capturing everybody with bedding. So we go next step, add destinations. So now the reason this works well is because let's say I want to create a campaign where I'm targeting people and I want to sell new bedding sets. So what I could do is just target people who have visited my bedding pages, haven't converted yet, and then I could just target them with ads that are related to what they're looking at on my website. So that's the way to find the most targeted people on your website. So just to click on new audience one more time, I want to go through a couple more things that we can do here. So some of the obvious things here, so someone who completed a goal conversion, someone who completed a transaction. So if you're measuring conversions in on Google Analytics as goals, what you could do is say, okay, someone who's completed a transaction, I want to retarget them with, new ads with products that are related to what they just bought. Maybe I want to target them 15 days later with some sale because I know they've already purchased from me. So you could do different things like that. I don't want to go through everything in detail over and over because you just kind of have to play around in here and learn more about how audiences work. But what you can do is if you go to audience definitions and click create new, you can actually create segment users by demographic information, technology, different things like that, and actually create your own audiences. So what I can do is, for example, I can take an age. Maybe I say, you know what, I only want to reach, I only want to reach 25 and up. Since it's a beach decor website, I'm going to say just female. I'm going to do language. You could do language. So only people that have English US as their main language. Affinity category. So you can come through here and kind of see some of these different options here. So maybe I want to reach shoppers and shopaholics. So something like that, because maybe that will be related to people that are looking at my products in market segment. So I don't think there's really anything related, but maybe I just go home and garden, home decor. So now I'm reaching people with all these different segments here. Let's not do any other category. Let's do location as country contains, and we could do United States. So now we do that and we click apply. So what it's going to do is take all of our website users who are in these categories. So they speak English, they're female, they're 25 and up. The affinity category that they are in is shoppers and shopaholics, and the in-market segment is home and garden and home decor. So now I take these people over the last 30 days. So I'm able to basically segment out website visitors and reach people who are basically the most valuable to me within certain different things. Okay, so that's always good to know in case you want to narrow people down and segment them off a little bit. So just good to know you can kind of create audiences like that. So now what we're going to do is come back over to AdWords here. Now we have our audience list. It's not going to show them here. So what I want to do is refresh this page and hopefully they all pop in. They should. Okay, so now the audiences that we just created, it's going to say, website visitors automatically created, Google Analytics. Website visitors tag based, so it's basically saying we're using the tags on the website to build these audiences. It's going to show zeros at first because these audiences have to populate, and then you can use them in your campaigns as you go. Usually it takes a little bit to populate them, not that long though. But now I want to show you a couple different things. So one of the things you can do is actually upload your email list. So we went over website visitors, app users. If you have an app here, basically you want to connect your app to your Google AdWords account or your Firebase account, and you want to make sure that you can look at everybody who's visited your app, and you can do the same thing that we showed in website visitors. So if someone visits certain sections of your app, different things like that. Maybe someone's a certain interest group who's using your app. So it's the same way as using website visitors, except it's your app instead of a website. YouTube users. So I'm just going to show this real quick. My YouTube channel is really small. I have one video on it, so it's probably not even big enough to target anything. I think the minimum size they require is 100 people. So you really need to have some type of audience if you're going to start creating audiences like this. But what I could do is YouTube users, and it's going to say initial list size is people from past 120. Membership duration is 30 days, so I'll just do 30 days. And it's going to be anybody who's viewed a video from the channel. The other thing you could do is if you have larger pages, you could do, subscribe to a channel. Obviously, for Surfside PPC, I can do this stuff a little bit more. So if I say, okay, I want all my new subscribers to maybe see, I send out a video, what is Surfside PPC or something like that, then I could do that. So what we're going to do is click Create Audience. So now we have our YouTube users past 30 days. Basically, anybody who's viewed one of my YouTube videos on beachfront decor for the past 120 days will be on the list automatically, and then they'll stay there for 30 days. So I use this a little bit with Surfside PPC, but I don't really like to. I don't really like to retarget to you guys after I make videos for you. So okay, we actually paused the video for a day so we can kind of show you some of these different audiences starting to populate. So you can just kind of see it back here. Obviously, new visitors 30 day. You can see some different things here. It's showing membership status for some of them closed. You can open them here. So you want to make sure some of these are always stay open. So I just want to keep these open. I'm not sure why they're closed, but we'll just keep them open. So all users, it's showing closed. You want to make sure that all these membership statuses are open, saying no new visitors are adding. I'm not sure why all users is doing that, but we could figure that out eventually. So what we're going to do next is upload our email list. So what you're going to do is same thing with audience list. You're going to click on the plus arrow here and you want to do customer list. So customer list is going to be any customer data that you've collected. So you can see here, here's some of the different column headers they have. So email, phone, first name, last name, country, and zip. And what you want to do is upload data. So basically, they can match people who are on your email list also to people who are on the Google network. So if I come in here and I say beachfront decor email list, so I want to upload my email list and I want to match people on my email list to people on the Google AdWords, Google Display Network. So what you're going to do is I already have my Excel file, so it's a CSV file, and basically there's one column. So picture if this was a CSV file with all these different columns, there's one column. It's column A in email, and under email is all of my different emails there. So that's basically all the way I have it. It's nothing else, serious. It's nothing difficult to process or anything like that. So it's just one column email in row A. It just says email, just like this, and then in row B, row C, row D. It's all just emails, just different emails that people have opted into my email list. Now, the key here is make sure people have opted into your email list. You have to follow basically you have to follow all of the laws and legality. You can't be sending emails to people or targeting on the Google network if you don't have access to that type of data. So you can't just find emails on the internet or try to steal someone else's email list or something like that. So what we're going to do here is upload plain text data unhashed. So if you have hash data, which is kind of more of an advanced thing, but if you have hash data, you can just format your file the same way. Ours is unhashed, so basically when we upload it, what they're going to do is automatically hash it so that it's more secure. So I'm going to go ahead and upload my file now. Okay, so I have my members export uploaded. I just exported it right from MailChimp, so I use MailChimp. And then here's what you're going to say. It's going to say this data was collected and is being shared with Google in compliance with Google customer match policies. So basically make sure you have access to all the data that you're uploading. Don't upload anything where people haven't explicitly given you access. So membership duration. So basically what I like to do is do no expiration on members at all. So just keep them on the list forever. And then what you're going to have to do is upload your email list several times. So say maybe once a week, once a month, depending on how many new subscribers you add, so that you can keep adding those new people into your targeting. So if, for example, you get 100 new subscribers every month or something, what you want to do is just upload your new email list every month. You'll match to more customers on Google AdWords, and you can keep increasing this email list audience as you go. So description. So if you want to add a description, you can for your audience. I only really use descriptions for like huge accounts with tons of audiences. This one shouldn't have too many, so we'll just go upload and create list. Okay, so it's saying your customer list has been successfully saved. Of the 328 rows you uploaded, so that's how many emails were on my email list. 328 were in the correct format. AdWords will match your data to customers on the Google network, and then saying you can add this list to your targeting now, but matching can take up to 24 hours. So now we're done. So basically, this is how you create different audiences in Google AdWords. There's some different things you can create. You can create your own affinity audiences, and I think they're starting to get more where you can create more intent audiences too, but I think it's just mostly affinity audiences. I don't use those that often. They're too broad for me as far as what budget I have. You can use affinity audiences if you have a huge budget, but even then, it might be better off just sticking with intent and in-market type audiences, and then focusing on these types of things here. So your email list, so my beachfront to core email list, so the AdWords optimized list. So basically, they use my most relevant audience and the people who are most engaged in the things I'm doing. All users, betting. Obviously, I'd keep building this out with different links, like I showed before. YouTube users. So basically, what you can see here is, so for example, Surfside PPC. So I have a YouTube channel here, decent amount of people visit my website every month, and then I have an email list too. So what I would do with Surfside PPC is upload all those things, and then you have this huge audience in AdWords that you can target. So basically, if I'm Surfside, well, I am Surfside PPC, but what I can do is if, let's say, my email list gets to 10,000 people, let's say I have 100,000 people visit my website every month. It's nowhere close to that, but let's just say that happened, for example, and let's say I get 10,000 YouTube views every month. So if those are the three numbers that I'm using and that's how big my audience is, and let's assume those numbers keep rising, what I can do is come into AdWords and maybe I wrote a new book, maybe I'm releasing a premium video series, something like that. What I can do is target people on AdWords and say Surfside PPC, and I know that those people, like if you're on my email list, you're interested in my content. If you're viewing me on YouTube, you at least have, you know, some level of knowledge of who Surfside PPC is, and you know some of our videos. And then also if you're visiting the website. So it's just a way to kind of target people who are highly engaged into what I'm doing. And honestly, it's something that I'll probably use and take advantage of in the future as I keep building my audience. But for now, I just want to give you guys as much free content as possible. So that's where audiences come in. Hopefully, this helps. I like to manage all my audiences into Google Analytics, at least my remarketing audiences. And then when you come in here, you can upload some of your AdWords optimized, or what am I doing? Your beachfront to core email list, not this one. This one I create in analytics, and then also YouTube users and things like that. Obviously, if you have a mobile app, you can add that here. Custom combination, you can actually maybe take like a list, for example. I could take my custom combination list and add my all users and anybody who's visited YouTube. So it just increases your list size. Or maybe I'd take my Google Smart List and my new visitors. So you can kind of combine lists if you want, but I don't really do that too often. Um, Couple other things just real quick here. Audience insights. So as you start getting more people, you start seeing basically more things about them, like interest data and things like that, gender data, location data, audience sources. So basically, you can see where your audiences come from. So I like to use Google Analytics a lot. You can also just create AdWords. YouTube we have here, obviously. So hopefully, this explains audiences a little bit to you. What you can start doing is these are going to start creating similar audiences as you start, as basically they keep getting more data, they're going to create audiences that are going to say similar to your betting audience. So once you populate this for, let's say, I don't know how long it takes exactly. I just know they pop into your account after a little while. But let's just say I keep building out my betting audience. It gets up to, 2,000 people. What they're going to do is take those 2,000 people, figure out their interests, their age, their location, their gender, and they're going to create another set of people, maybe 100,000 people who are similar to them, and then you can target them. So they're called similar audiences. I do like to use similar audiences. So just something else to keep in mind as you go. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, and thank you for watching our